up guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have another collaboration for the forgotten favorites of the Disney movies. So last month we did Hercules. We had so many amazing people a part of this collaboration, so a huge thank you to Sarah and Jasem for doing this all, for putting it together. You guys don't want to miss these videos because they are continuing through a whole bunch of the year. So for this month we are doing Tarzan, which is so exciting because I absolutely love Tarzan. I think it is so underrated. The music by Phil Collins is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. So in honor of doing some of the music kind of things, I did a DIY of this faux shadow box, like frame kind of thing, and it says "You'll Be in My Heart," and it's got Kala and tiny Tarzan there. So if you guys want to learn how to make this DIY, I only used Dollar Tree things, so anything from Dollar Tree, the frame, the moss, this little twine, and the rest of it you just need a printer. So literally anyone could do this. You don't have to be crafty, you could just glue. So if you guys are interested in learning how I did this and how you could make this, I think it'd be a really good gift. I actually made it for someone in mind when I was making this. So stay tuned and let's hop into it.
Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night.
So to start off our DIY, I found a piece of sheet music for "You'll Be in My Heart." You could really do it with any song that you want. But I printed that off on regular printer paper, and now I'm just putting in a tray with some coffee. I ended up pouring freshly brewed coffee. This was just leftover coffee, but freshly brewed coffee will stain the paper a little bit more. Then I printed off this picture of Tarzan and Kala when Tarzan's a little baby, and I thought it was adorable. I originally went in with my X-Acto knife, but then it ended up being a lot easier just for me to do the larger shape with scissors. So it's totally up to you how you want to cut it, but I ended up doing the smaller details with my X-Acto knife. That's one of the things that you can easily pick up at the Dollar Tree. They have an X-Acto knife set with 6 blades. It's not the best one, but it's definitely one that will do, and it's the one that I've been using, so it works pretty well. And so you can see I went in with some of the finer details to do that with the X-Acto knife. Next, I just searched for some vines, and I did the same thing. I ended up cutting this with my X-Acto knife. Originally, I went around all the leaves, but when I went to go pull it out, the leaves were so tiny that they just kind of stayed in the actual paper. So what I did for the second vine set, I just did the actual vine and then went over and did the leaves separately, which I found to be a little bit easier. So once I got that, I found my Dollar Tree canvas. This is obviously something that you want an adult to do because the blade for the X-Acto knife is very sharp and can be dangerous, but I'm just slicing some of the canvas off of the frame that came from the Dollar Tree. It does take a few minutes just to have it come off. Be patient with it. It will come off, but just like I said, be patient. I also wanted to mention something that I didn't show in the video, but I will show in a future video. I end up watering down brown paint just to cover the actual wooden frame, and it works perfect instead of stain. Next, I am taking some Elmer's liquid glue, mostly because this will dry clearly. I didn't want to use Mod Podge because I didn't have any matte Mod Podge on hand, but if you do have matte Mod Podge, you can do that. I just didn't really want it to be very shiny. And of course, like I said, the Elmer's glue will dry clear, and so I'm just gluing on our 2 vines onto our "You'll Be in My Heart" song piece, music sheet song piece. And then I'm going in next and I'm trying to make just a silhouette in the background. I measured out the bottom of the 8.5 piece of paper and I just kind of tried to cut it here. I wanted it to look like there were little leaves. They didn't show up too much in the final product, but I think next time I would make them a little bit bigger, stand out a little bit more. So that's to your discretion. If you want to do this, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to either. And then I'm just going to glue that onto our piece of paper with the same glue. So I actually ended up layering them. So I did the actual characters, and once again I used my paintbrush. It just makes applying glue a little bit easier. So I layered that on top of the vines, and then I'm going to layer the silhouette on top of the characters, just gluing down wherever I can, just so that the paper doesn't come off and it sticks nicely. Once that's all glued down, I'm going to kind of cut out where my frame is going to be. So there were a little bit excess of paper on each side. So once again, I'm taking my X-Acto knife and just kind of slicing the edges, which lines up to be a very straight cut because you are cutting right along the frame, which gives you a straight cut. And then you'll get rid of the excess paper. There I am, just in the way. But there we go. Then that paper will fit the frame to the exact measurements of what we need. I also took this Dollar Tree twine. You could find it in the craft aisle as well. I'm using a little bit of hot glue. I thought this would kind of be cool. I really like different textures in art and different art pieces or display pieces, so I wanted to include some three-dimensional pieces as well. So I thought the twine would be really nice to get that jungle-y look. And then I'm going to be gluing this on the back of the canvas or the frame. And then, well, I'm actually going to use the canvas for something else. So I don't know if I'll show that yet. But you'll also see here I did a little, one of my new favorite craft tips of hot gluing the end of one glue stick, your new hot glue stick. So I love that, so it doesn't fall out. Next, I'm taking this reindeer moss, also found at the Dollar Tree. Once again, I'm all about the different textures when it comes to displaying art or making art or crafts, things like that. So I'm just gluing down some of this reindeer moss into places that I think would look nice. I ended up covering the silhouette that I put down, but I kind of like that you could still see through it, part of it, just because of that dark background. But I think it gives a lot of character to have some of the three-dimensional characteristics, three-dimensional items in the actual frame. And here we have our final piece. I really wanted to go with an antique look only because the movie does take place a while ago, and I just really love the music. Phil Collins is amazing, and this really makes me think of my mom. So there's the end. You guys, so much for watching this video or a DIY on how to make this. I hope it was super simple. You really don't need very many materials, and it is so friendly to beginners. You don't need a Cricut, you don't need like to know how to sew or anything like that. So I like doing crafts like these that are very accessible to everyone because they're all every item is either from the Dollar Tree or things that you have at home already, and there's just like a lot of gluing involved. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please go check out all the other videos that are a part of this collaboration. I cannot wait to see all the love that Tarzan is going to get. I will leave all the information for all the other videos as well as channels who are a part of this collaboration down in the description below, and I will also leave all the materials if you forget. I will try and find the links to Dollar Tree if I can, but if not, just go check the crafting aisle. They will be there. But thank you guys once again, and I will see you all real soon. Bye. All the bad stuff.